Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Youth Uncut. My name is Coach Devin Buchanan. I'm founder and executive director of the Focus Youth Network. The Focus Youth Network provides innovative educational and recreational activities for youth and their families centered around three main pillars: wellness and nutrition education, character development, and post-secondary success. We're excited to bring Youth Uncut to you, which is a show that gives youth a voice and an opportunity to discuss the things that mean most to them. This season, we have a new cast, and I would like to introduce them from my right to my left. I have Lewis, a sixth grader in Philadelphia. I have Amir, an eighth grader in Philadelphia. I have Sadia, a junior, and I have Javon, a 10th grader in Philadelphia. And today's topic we're going to discuss is maybe a little bit of a controversial topic, but do parents really hinder the success of their kids? And I think this is an interesting topic, and I'm excited to talk to them about that today. And so I'm gonna open up the floor to you guys and really open up this conversation and ask, do you guys really feel that parents have the best interest in mind for their kids? And sometimes do they have the tendency to hinder their kids in reaching their goals? Does anybody want to tackle this one first? Yeah. Javon, go ahead.
I think they do in today's society because it's like well known that parents condition their children in a way to like, you know, do this, do that, and it can be like challenging for kids in the future because they might be like, oh, my parents wanted me to do this, so I'm gonna have to take that path and put my other like ambitions to the just out of the way, and yeah, that could affect the child's future in a good way or a bad way.
I'm gonna push you a little bit because you used the word that I thought was interesting, and it's this idea of conditioning kids. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does it mean if a parent might be conditioning their kid to live a certain way?
They have this point of view that they're just like concentrating to their kids, and they'll give them actions to do. They'll make them think a certain way to like condition them, like make them this person or this picture that they painted for their children. And yeah, that's what I mean by conditioning.
It's almost like when they're younger, parents think that kids aren't capable of thinking on their own. What do you think, Sadia? What are your opinions on that?
I honestly agree. I feel like parents are trying to polish what their parents taught them, so they're trying not to be as hard on their children as their parents did, but self-consciously is only making it worse because they're trying to like ease around and beat around the bush when in reality they're just making it worse because they are decreasing the potential that their children have. So if you're trying to stop your children from doing a certain thing and you're not trying to be too hard on them with your parents, as your parents was with you, and you try to address it in a different way, it may decrease the potential in them and they may not want to do it ever in life, not just as a child. It might be something that they grow up and think about and be like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. My mom told me not to.
Okay. And I do think parents have such a huge impact on the beliefs and how young people begin to think about themselves, you know, when they're younger. And I'm always careful to teach my students about this concept of self-awareness, you know, understanding your strengths and weaknesses. And I think it can be difficult when you're younger and parents are constantly giving you information, constantly feeding you without allowing you to often figure out things on your own. You know, I sometimes think about, when I was younger, you know, oftentimes, I wasn't always the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsible person, you know, and sometimes you might lose something or you might forget your key or lose, a piece of clothing. And your parents so quick to blame you and label you as irresponsible or you can't do this, you can't do that. Have any of you ever dealt with that before? Yes. What do you think?
I actually have. I would always lose my school pass or my homework, and they will tell me that I'm irresponsible. And I would go to the teacher and see if she can give me another one. and most times she'll call my mom and tell them that I
Okay.
lost it.
So a lot of times you're not even really given the chance to make up for a mistake. You're like, oh, I lost it. Now the teacher is telling your parent and you don't really get a chance. So I totally understand that. So I want to really talk about, some of our goals, right? And start to frame, like, what are some of the things that we really want to accomplish in life? And do your relationships with your parents allow those things to happen? And let me give you an example. My parents don't often think about entrepreneurship, owning their own business, right? I think that's kind of a new concept in our society right now. And so as I'm an entrepreneur, I often have to try to change my parents' thinking. And so as far as your goals, and I'm gonna come to you with this one, Amir, as far as your goals, how does your relationship with your mother and your mother allow you to move forward in achieving those goals?
Well, I use my mother as my motivation to do things because I like making her happy because when she's happy, I'm happy. And that's how I go about things.
Okay, so you often, the reason why you work hard is to maybe please your mother?
Yes, but not only that.
Okay. So elaborate on that, because I was going to ask you a little bit more. So elaborate on that.
Yes, not only that. It's because my mother wants the best for me, and I want the best for me. I don't only do it to please her, but I know that it will help me in the future.
It'll help you in the future. Who here has heard of the term intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation? Has anybody ever heard of that before, intrinsic motivation? No. All right, so I think it's a great opportunity to talk to you and even some of the young people out there. There's this thing we call intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic really means, are you motivated by things that you get from inside of you, whether it be your values, things you believe, those are the things that motivate you? Or are you motivated by external factors? Maybe, your parents might give you $5 for every A you get. So the only reason you work hard is so you can get that money, right? And so when you think about how you're motivated, would you say you're more motivated intrinsically by your own will to do well, or extrinsically because you've always been given things to entice you to do well?
I would like to speak on it. First, can you repeat the words intrinsically?
Intrinsic and extrinsic, if you think of interior and exterior.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I still couldn't get the words.
Okay.
So I would say I'm intrinsic because I really do stuff based on how I feel about it. Like when I'm doing something, I think about it like, do I really want to do this? Like what is it going to benefit and what is it going to make me lose? And then I do the certain things. But I always receive gifts from what I've did. So if I have, like my father just told me, oh yeah, you got good grades, so I'll pay for your junior prom. But I feel like that also damage you in a way because once you don't get to, like my grades has been slipping, and once it slipped, I'm like disappointed. Like they really admire my grades towards the point where they're buying things. So now that they're slipping, it's like you're disappointed in yourself because you feel like your parents would be disappointed in you.
Yeah.
So it also has a little damaging to go with it.
You want that?
That to me would count as bribing if you just did it
If you're bribed.
for one cause. But if I had the choice to, then yeah. But with me, I won't do that because a kid has a choice.
Okay.
He can get a grade that lasts a while and can help him in the future, or get a gift that will last about like what, a month.
And I like that. I like that he said that. I heard this quote a while ago, and it was about paying for experiences rather than tangible things, and so when I think about why I do things, I think about how is this going to help me in the future? How is this going to put me a little bit closer to those goals that I say that I have? Let me just a quick nod. Do you guys have goals for yourselves? And do you keep those goals in the forefront of your mind? Okay. So when bad things happen, right? Because honestly, you know, every day there's always going to be something. When you walked in here today, you were like, "Oh my gosh, it's been kind of a crazy day," right? And so those types of days have the potential to have negative effects on your belief that you can achieve those dreams. And that's why I tell you it's so important to be intrinsically motivated, right? There's always going to be external factors. You might get, you know, I know you go to, I teach at your school. And so, you know, you might get a reward at the end of a week for having a high paycheck, but you haven't internalized why you got that high paycheck, right? You might, you know, get a trip for going or for making the honor roll, but you don't know why you're working that hard. And so it's really important to think about how you're motivated, right? And then also think about what are those factors that affect that motivation. So today we're talking about parents. What are some other factors that can also affect your motivation? You know, sometimes it's not just your parents. What are some other things?
There's schools, a lot of schools now. They haven't changed like how cars and phones did. It's still the same. They're set in line and teach the same thing.
Did you see one of my favorite YouTube videos? Huh?
Probably.
Yeah, I think you saw it. Okay, but go ahead.
And they're not teached on what they want to grow up to be or on their goals. They're teached about like math.
Like the basic core subjects,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You know, I do think it's important for us to think about where we getting our information from that's going to push us towards our goals. Guys, when we come back, I'm excited because we're going to talk and really dive deep into how are we motivated? What are some of those things that we say that we want to do with our lives, and how are we actually going to get there? I'm excited to come back for our second half of the show, and we're going to have a couple more people up here just to see some more opinions from our youth and talk about, do parents and adults really hinder the dreams of our children? We'll be back soon.
It's the small things that make a big difference.
Hook to the dollar feature and you're on my mind. Return of the creature that crawled up from the subway line. You're always keeping me waiting, keeping me waiting for you.
According to the Mayo Clinic, exercising has stress-busting benefits by bumping up your endorphins and improving your mood.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Youth Uncut, a show that gives youth a voice and gives them an opportunity to discuss the things that mean most to them. We want to take time to thank our sponsor today, Young Men Becoming Men Incorporated, which is an organization that provides mentorship to young men in grades 8 through 12, which includes basketball, health and wellness, and sports nutrition. Thank you very much for your support of the Focus Youth Network and Youth Uncut. Also coming up this semester, we will be having our third annual Focus Youth Summit and Fashion Show happening at Temple University on May 18th from 12 to 9. If you're interested in attending this youth summit, please visit us at focusyouth.network.org. We are welcoming back two new people, or actually one new person, to our panel today as we discuss this very important topic of, do parents and adults really hinder the dreams of our young people? And I want to take this opportunity to reintroduce our panel for today. To my right, I have Marcus, who is a junior here in Philadelphia. We have Amir, who is an 8th grader here in Philly. We have Sadia, who is a junior, and Javon, who is a sophomore. And again, we're talking about, do adults really hinder the dreams of our youth? And as we talk about this, I think it's really important for us to talk about dreams. I think it's really important for us to talk about goals and the things that we say we want to do with our lives. But do our actions really show that we're working towards those goals and dreams? And so I really want to talk to our young people today and figure out, what are some things that they're working towards right now? And do they really feel like they have the resources to achieve those goals? And so I'm going to start with Marcus to my right. And I'm going to ask you, Marcus, what are some of the things that you really want to accomplish really recently, soon in your life, and then moving forward?
All right, so one of the things I want to accomplish in my life is, once I graduate high school, I want to go to a good college get my 4-year degree in either sports marketing or sports management.
Okay.
So I can be either a sports agent, or I can help Nike or Pepsi or whatever, or Gatorade with the sports marketing.
Okay.
And how I'm working towards that right now, I go to Ridley High School, so I take a sports marketing course there.
Okay.
So I'm learning the ways of how Pepsi and Gatorade get you to appeal and buy their product, and how they air it. So, because you rarely see Gatorade ads outside of sports events. So
Absolutely. I like that. We'll talk about that in a moment. So I'm gonna ask you, Amir, and we've known each other for quite a long time. And so, why don't you share some of the goals that you have for yourself?
My short-term goal is, I'm in 8th grade. I'll be graduating middle school this year.
Okay.
And my goal is to graduate with honors.
With honors?
With a 4.0 GPA.
Okay.
Yeah, as a long-term goal, I've already got accepted into my 4 out of 5 of my magnet school choices of high school. And, excuse me, I'm going to Palumbo.
Okay.
My long-term goal is, after I come out of high school, to go to one of 5 colleges.
Okay.
And get my 4-year psychology degree.
Oh, so you want to study psychology?
Yes, and then after that, I want to go to law school.
Okay, I like it. You got a man with a lot of ambitions. My homie, the homie Sadia. Sadia, I know you got all types of goals, man.
I
Tell
do.
me.
So the goal that I'm working on right now is completing 150 scholarships before the end of this year.
Is these scholarships applications, right?
Yeah, scholarship applications with the essay and everything, just so I can make sure I'm well funded for college. Even though I graduate in 2020, I'm still trying to prepare myself. Right now, I really don't know what I want to major in. I really want to major in engineering, but I'm not sure about that math. The math's a little too complex. But I've been working towards it, and I've been taking, I actually just got accepted into this aircraft program that I'm going to be doing during the summer.
Okay.
But I also think I'm going to major in human services,
Okay.
just to get a different type of degree so I can work with children, like a social work type of thing.
Okay.
So right now I'm in 3 different programs, UACAP, Philadelphia Youth Leadership, and Girls Track, which is all ran by social work people.
Okay.
So I'm making sure I get like a little taste of where I'm going and where I'm headed at.
Okay.
And I'm also going to do a program next year where they're teaching me the basics of psychology, social work, human services, everything follow in so I can make sure I make my decision before it's time to.
I love that. So it sounds like you have a clearly identified track and things that you know you need to get done to get there.
Yes.
Right? Like if I want to be working in social work, it's like I need to be doing that right now. I love that. I love that. Finally, Javon, talk to us about some of your goals, man. And before you even start, I just want to say that again, I've known you for about 3 or 4 years now, and I'm fortunate to be able to see you be involved in a lot of different things, a number of different things. So talk to us about some of your goals.
So start off, my long-term goal, I want to be a graphic designer.
Okay.
And I've taken, well, my short-term goal was, I already did it, but it was to get like what Sadia said, to like get a taste of different things like coding languages. That was the main thing. I've taken many classes at different colleges like PAFA, Moore College. Moore College was very helpful, and the University of the Arts. And yeah, I just want to get as much information, but they gave me the basics, and I want to like start getting the advanced version of all those things. And yeah.
And I want to, it's funny because I always talk to my students about the haves and the have-nots, right? And it's one of my favorite shows. But I talk to them because, as I've gotten older, I've started to understand that there are certain things that you have to do to achieve your dreams. And I think a lot of students right now truly believe that school is enough. That when you go to school and you're there from 8 in the morning till 3 at night, that's enough to achieve your goals and dreams. And, I really believe that you have to seek out more. Like you have to try to see where there's more opportunity so that you can set yourself apart, so that you don't have to be a have-not, that you can be a have, right? So thinking about this, do parents and adults really hinder our goals? I want us to think about how can we start to move that needle in our society, right? How can we start to create a whole societal shift around this belief that young people are the future, right? I don't know if y'all know the biggest demographic in our country right now is what? Do you guys know? Baby boomers, right? The biggest demographic in our country. And those are people who right now, they still own a lot of the jobs. They still, own a lot of the businesses. And so it's going to be people like you who are going to be shifting that needle to where our society was a little bit older, and now it's going to be increasingly younger and younger as we move on. And so I think it's important that you guys do start to think about those goals. So as we finish up today, I want you to think about one piece of advice that you would give to somebody your age to help them move forward in their lives. And it could be, centered around school behavior. It could be centered around things you need to do at home. It could be centered around intrinsic or extrinsic motivation, anything like that. So who would like to go first? Anybody like to? Oh, y'all all got something to say. All right, so we'll go this way. We'll just start and move this way. Each take about 30 to 40 seconds because we're finishing up here.
What I like to say to kids my age is nobody achieves their dream just by doing one thing, solely just one thing. You can't achieve your dream just by going to school and thinking, oh, since I go to school, I'm gonna go to college and get my degree. No, you gotta do more than just that. You gotta want more. You gotta be hungry. Like you gotta
want it, right?
You gotta want it. Like you gotta do more. Like you gotta look for all these programs. You gotta do research outside of school.
Yes.
You gotta look for stuff outside of school. You can't rely on everybody else to do something for you.
Exactly.
You gotta do it yourself, and you gotta do multiple things for yourself in order for you to be successful.
Exactly. One of my mentors said, you gotta be a nightmare for your dreams. When your dreams see you coming, they start running. Go ahead. Huh?
Come back to me.
Come back to you? Okay. So do you have one piece of advice
Yes.
that you would like to give your fellow peers?
Yes. My fellow peers, I want to just say it is better to fail trying to succeed on your own and make your own dreams come true than to fail following in somebody else's footsteps. So do what you want to do and follow your heart and chase your dreams. Do not let anybody tell you you can't do it. Do not let anybody say, oh, you should try again later. Just follow your dreams and do what you want to do.
Excellent, excellent. Javon?
So one piece of advice that I have is stop using your social media and your status to like put some unnecessary message out there. That should really, because the opportunity is all out there. You could just go on social media, look up Youth Uncut, and boom, and you'll just have a whole network of people ready to just like take you in, give you all this information, and boom. But like they're not doing that, and I feel like they just find out who they are and just pursue all the opportunity that's out there, so that they're like just have a foundation to start at. And like the kids have that, but they're not like ready to do that, and that's the advice I have.
I understand. Do you want to finish up for us?
I was going to say don't stop. Keep pushing. Keep doing what you have to do. Don't let what others say, as Sadia said, bring you down. I would say keep moving forward. Don't be in your own way either. If you want to be a basketball player, you have to practice. You have to be around people that will give you that relationship that will help you succeed your goal.
Good. So I want to just finish up with, why we decided to call this the Focus Youth Network. I truly believe that providing our youth with extraordinary experiences will produce extraordinary individuals. And FOCUS is an acronym that stands for Finding Ourselves Creates Unlimited Success. I truly believe that once you find out who you truly are, you open up a ton of doors for yourself to achieve the goals and dreams that you have for yourself. I want to thank you guys for joining us for our first episode in season 2, and I'm looking forward to coming back for our next show. Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.